iPhone 10, the perfect big box phone. It's not about who did it first, it's about who did it right, is the philosophy behind iPhone 10. Good morning everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Yes, if you were wondering, I am going to do another review from Best Buy. Well, sort of. Until the day arrives that I can review a phone in hand, I will be filming my video reviews using some of the phones on display at my local Best Buy. Thanks, and stay tuned.
Right out of the box, you're greeted with a bright and colorful 5.8-inch Super Retina HD edge-to-edge OLED display. Along the side of the phone, you'll notice a stainless steel band that brings the front and back of the phone together. This gives the phone heft, giving it its overall premium feel. As you use the phone for the first time, the first thing you will notice is the notch at the top of the display. Some will find this bothersome, while others will embrace its unique aesthetic. On 10, you will not find a fingerprint scanner embedded within the display, or along the bottom bezel, or on the back of the phone, so to unlock it you will have to use Face ID and the front-facing camera. But perhaps as it pertains to the title of this video, what is interesting to note is that this iPhone is thicker than the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. iPhone 8 is 7.3mm thick and iPhone 8 Plus is 7.5mm thick, making iPhone 10 at 7.7mm slightly thicker than its predecessors 8 and 8 Plus. In terms of height, iPhone 10 is taller than iPhone 8 but shorter than iPhone 8 Plus. In terms of width, iPhone 10 is wider than iPhone 8 but not as wide as iPhone 8 Plus. Therefore, when compared to last year's models, iPhone 10 is in the middle in terms of size. In each of these devices you will find the A11 Bionic chip with 64-bit architecture, with neural engine, and the embedded M11 motion coprocessor. Aside from the technology and the hardware found in each of these phones, right out of the box you have access to the Apple App Store, iTunes Store, and virtually any other online retailer who is a participant of Apple Pay, making using the phone for consumption purposes easy and reliable. Apple's App Store is a bank of 2.2 million applications. Compare this to Google's Play Store, which has 3.5 million applications. Needless to say, there are a myriad of options to choose from to make your user experience unique. You will also find enjoyment in always having one of the best cameras a smartphone can buy. On the rear, you will have at your disposal 12-megapixel wide-angle and telephoto cameras, one wide-angle f1. Aperture camera, and one telephoto f2.4 aperture camera. Combined, these cameras offer digital zoom up to 10 times. Portrait mode and the ability to apply a bokeh effect are included in the camera options as well. Video recording happens at 4K at 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. At 1080p HD, they happen at 30 or 60 frames per second. Or if you decide that you want to record at 720p HD, you can do so at 30 frames per second.
But what is it that makes iPhone 10 the perfect big box phone? To explain that, I put together a little presentation.
This presentation is a study comprised of 11 phones which I think are popular: iPhone 10, Galaxy Note 8, Galaxy S8, Galaxy S8 Plus, Google Pixel 2 XL, OnePlus 5T, Essential Phone, the LG V30, Google Pixel 2, OnePlus 5, and the Motorola Moto X4. Using analysis, I'm going to show you just why iPhone 10 is the perfect big box phone. Now, to find out where iPhone 10 fits in amongst these 11 phones, I went ahead and I did some math. So for battery power, I calculated the mean milliamp hourage of these 11 phones, which was 3,531 milliamp hours. iPhone 10 was at the top of the list, Google Pixel 2 XL was at the bottom. The next category was screen size. We all know that the screen size for the iPhone 10 is 5.8 inches, and amongst the 11 phones that I analyzed, it actually was directly in the middle at 5.8 inches. The smallest screen size was the Google Pixel 2 at 5 inches, and the largest screen size belonged to the Galaxy Note 8 at 6.3 inches. The next category that I analyzed was processor speed. If we take a look at the chart here, we see that Pixel 2 came in at 2.35 GHz, which was the median amongst the 11 phones in terms of processing speed. iPhone 10, as you can see, came in directly after it at 2.4 GHz. Even though in this case it isn't statistically correct to say that the iPhone X is in the middle in terms of processing speed, I think it's still safe to say that it's in the middle. The next category is screen resolution. The median of this group was the Essential phone, but again, the iPhone was merely one position before it. The Motorola Moto X4, OnePlus 5, and the Pixel 2 were all tied for first place as having the lowest screen resolution at 1080 by 1920. The Galaxy S8 took the cake as having the highest screen resolution at 1440 by 2960. So the point of the presentation was to illustrate just how the iPhone X fit directly in the middle of the smartphone market. And even though it failed to reach the median in the battery comparison test, it did reach the median or was one off from being the median in each of the other categories. And in terms of size, when we compare the size of the iPhone to its predecessors 8 and 8 Plus, it retains its position again as being the perfect big box phone by positioning itself directly in the middle. iPhone X comes in two storage options, 64GB at $999 plus tax, or 256GB at $1,149 plus tax. As always, thank you for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment below if you have any questions, and follow me on Twitter. You are watching iPhone X, the perfect big box phone.